All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're going to explore a really powerful philosophy that completely reframes every struggle you've ever faced. The idea is that nothing was a setback, but actually a crucial part of a much bigger plan. And it all starts with a question I think every single one of us has asked at some point.
Why is my life just so hard? You know that feeling, right? It's that question that creeps in during the quiet moments. You look around at all the obstacles, the pain, the sheer exhaustion, and you just can't help but wonder, why does it have to be like this? It's a deeply human feeling, and it's exactly where we're going to start.
So, first things first, let's get a foundational idea out on the table. Nobody gets a free pass. According to this philosophy, struggle is a universal human condition. It just wears a different mask for every single person.
And this is where we start to break down our usual assumptions about what hardship even means. You've got the struggle you can see, right? The economic stuff, just trying to survive and make ends meet. But then there's this whole other side, the invisible agony of mental anguish. The source points out that someone with all the money in the world might be facing a kind of suffering so deep it leads them to the darkest of places, a kind of pain that someone just focused on paying rent might not even be able to imagine.
So what's the big takeaway here? It's that we're all in the thick of it, you know? The person you might envy could be fighting a battle that's way more terrifying than your own. This philosophy really pushes us to stop comparing our pain. Instead, it asks us to just recognize that we all share this experience of facing these huge, profound challenges.
Okay, so if everyone struggles, what's the point? Is it all just random, meaningless pain? Well, this philosophy says, no way. It wants us to consider a totally different angle. What if your past wasn't just a series of random misfortunes? What if it was actually a period of intense and absolutely necessary training? And this brings us to this really core concept, something called the equipping period. It basically reframes your entire past, every single failure, every heartbreak, every tough moment, as your own personal training ground. The whole idea is that you were, without even knowing it, forging the specific skills, the character, and the strength that you would absolutely need for whatever was coming next.
Just let that sink in for a second. Every scar, every lesson you had to learn the hard way, that wasn't a sign that you failed. Nope, it was preparation. You were collecting all these tools for a future you couldn't even see yet, building a totally unique toolkit that no one else on Earth has.
I mean, all that prep work has to lead somewhere, right? It can't be for nothing. Well, if the past was all about equipping yourself, this philosophy argues that the future is for the harvest.
And listen, this isn't just some feel-good, wishful thinking. It's presented as a fundamental law of nature, as real as the seasons changing. You know, just like a harsh winter has to give way to spring, a period of intense struggle must be followed by a period of joy. It's like a cosmic balancing of the scales.
So this timeline, it kind of lays out the whole journey for us. You see the past? That was the tough part. The hard work of planting seeds when the ground was tough. Right now, this present moment, that's the turning point. And the future? That's the harvest. That's the time to finally reap the rewards of everything you went through and everything you learned.
And that is the promise right at the heart of this whole idea. The era of just struggling is ending, and a new one is beginning. It's a time where you actually get to use all those skills you built, where your unique experiences become your biggest assets, and where you can finally enjoy the fruits of your labor. Okay, an entire era of joy sounds pretty incredible, right? But how does a massive societal shift like that actually get started? I mean, it doesn't just pop up out of nowhere. The source talks about a specific way this all happens, and it starts with a surprisingly small group of people. It all comes down to a key number, 30%. See, the idea is you don't actually need everyone to change all at once. You just need to reach a critical mass, a dedicated 30% of people to start shifting how they think. That's the tipping point. And here's the game plan. It all kicks off when that first 30% stops pointing fingers at society, or the government, or other people. Instead, they look inward to, as it's put, purify their minds. Once that happens, a kind of light enters the collective consciousness. That creates this unstoppable momentum that carries the change all the way to 70%, and that's the marker for success. After that, the rest of society just gets swept up in this powerful new current.
So, who's in? Who gets to be part of this new era? Who are the people that build this amazing, joyful future? Well, the answer is, honestly, maybe the most radical and hopeful part of this whole philosophy.
It's everyone. The source is super clear on this. Everyone is a necessary member. It doesn't matter what your role was before, the laborer, the wealthy person with their own inner demons, the person on the margins of society, even the outcast. Every single one of those experiences was a required part of our collective growth, our collective equipping period.
So what does that mean for you? It means that your specific journey, with all its unique hardships, has perfectly prepared you for a necessary role in this new era. Nothing was wasted. Every single person, with the skills they forged in their own personal fire, is an essential piece of this massive, beautiful puzzle that's about to be completed.
And that brings us to the final, really profound question. Look, this whole idea isn't about just sitting back and waiting for the world to magically change for you. It's about looking at your past and realizing it was all a perfect, even if painful, preparation. The real transformation begins when you stop seeing yourself as a victim of your history and you start seeing yourself as a graduate of it, fully equipped and ready for the harvest. So the only question left is, are you ready?